Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of August 3rd, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to start things off with something fun and interesting. And as you know, there's this big thing that's happening in Paris right now. Yeah, the Olympics. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that there's a guy by the name of Jack Lauer. He's one of the top 3 divers in the world, and he's making headlines for a different reason. Okay. How much do you think Jack makes a year? Because he is one of the top 3 divers in the world. How much money do you think he's making a year? You're totally wrong. I was shocked by this. He's making $36,000 a year. So what's the guy going to do? Jack has turned to OnlyFans, where he's posting workout tips, flaunting some spicy Speedio bathing suit pics. Yeah, this guy's putting the pics in Olympics, right? Oh, meanwhile, in Hong Kong, a gold medal will get you $768,000. 4th place will pull in $100,000. Now, USA, our athletes, are you ready for it? The bronze, they get $15,000. Okay, silver, $22,500. And a measly $37,500 for gold. Gosh, you put your whole life into it, and that's what you get. I don't know. I think we should be doing better here in the United States. And on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts, and you have to, because unless you're tech ahead, you are going to be tech left behind. Because after all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. You have tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And as always, you can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're streaming on your favorite radio app. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show now as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Komando with a K. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 different countries, and 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. And I just want to remind you that great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate exclusive money-saving deals with them. So as you hear me talk about sponsors and the deals, you're like, oh, what was that address? What's that promo code? Just go to komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. All right, just for you, dear one, I go to at least 35 different websites every single day of my life to make sure that we are both up to date what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know right now. And of course, we've all heard about people losing their money to online scams, whether it's tech support, crypto, romance, real estate, all of their types of scams. But have you ever wondered who is doing the scamming? Who's really behind it? Well, I read just a fascinating story in the Wall Street Journal the other day about a guy by the name of Billy. Let me tell you about Billy. He's from Ethiopia. He's the second of 7 kids. He worked super hard. He got a computer science degree in Ethiopia and then a master's in China. And he was fluent in Amharic, which is the language of Ethiopia, English, and Mandarin. This guy is smart. So while he was going to school, he went to Thailand on vacation. And he thought, you know what? I think I would like to live in Thailand on the beach somewhere. So he started looking for a job. And then he got a call from a company called Hulan Networks. It offered him a job at this fintech company. He did a slew of video interviews. They did background checks. So he headed to Thailand for his job. He was picked up at the airport, taken to a 4-star hotel. And they said, you know what? We're not quite ready for you to start working yet. Not ready yet. So just take your time, relax. A couple of days later, the driver picked him up along with 2 other gentlemen who were also hired by this fintech company in Thailand. They went on an 8-hour car ride. Then the driver said, "Sir, you need to give us your passports." That's when he realized he was crossing a border and arrived at a compound in Laos. And they told him he was going to be a scammer. He worked on 15 to 20 cases every single day using multiple phones and apps to communicate with his victims. When he didn't want to work, they almost broke his legs. I mean, we're talking about human trafficking. He was given a detailed PDF, everything that he had to do to pretend to be Alicia, a Singaporean jet setter, and to have somebody fall in love with her and then hand over the money. Okay. Now, of course, this is not every scammer in the universe. The woman who just gave $1 million in gold bars to a scammer in Maryland was duped by a 19-year-old kid in the Bronx. But if you're looking for something fascinating to read, look up this story in the Wall Street Journal. All right, moving on to number 2, Amazon's big disappointment. Amazon has long claimed that if you buy a third-party product that's later to be found dangerous, Amazon says, not our fault, we're not responsible. Well, a vote at the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission was unanimous. Amazon is responsible if it sells you something that later proves to be dangerous, even if it's not its own product. You see, the commission said that Amazon is a distributor, so it bears legal responsibility to refund all dangerous and defective products. So here's the deal. After this ruling happened, Amazon's lawyer came out and said, we're so disappointed. Disappointed for being forced to do the right thing, which means you might be getting some notices from Amazon when you sign in that you are due for a refund. Moving on, writing checks is dead. When was the last time you actually wrote a check at a store to buy something? Okay. I can't remember. Target, Whole Foods, Old Navy, they no longer accept any written checks. The average American writes just one check a year. So what's happening now? Technology, instant payments, where money transfers with zero delays and no charges. This is different from wire transfers, ACH, apps like PayPal. Last year, instant payments made up 1.5% of all payments in the United States. That's compared to 84% in India. It's going to be hard for the boomers to stop writing checks. They don't like change. Oh, that one hurt me. Finally, this. I couldn't help but get emotional when I read this and I heard the woman speak. Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton has always been at home speaking on the House floor, but in 2023, everything changed. She was diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder, which robbed her of her ability to speak clearly. But she wasn't about to let that diagnosis silence her. So thanks to the wonders of AI, a model developed by 11 Labs, that's the name of the company, she was able to find her own voice back. They used her past recordings. She actually used it to advocate for others with disabilities in the first AI voice clone speech on the House floor. Listen to this.
I hope I can be a voice, even an AI voice, for Americans facing accessibility challenges and other disabilities, because too often people only see us for that disability. And in truth, we are so much more.
Okay, isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that just amazing? I love when technology can change lives. Oh my gosh, this show is just jam-packed. Okay, we're going to talk about whether or not you should let your phone die every single day, how to track when someone uses your images without permission. Maybe you can make some money at that. A trick to know who's behind an unknown number when they call you. And of course, we have just the best calls in the history of talk radio. And you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, the contest is almost over. So if you have not entered to win that $1,000 vacation gift card yet, oh my gosh, do it now. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Hey, how about we start with Ray in Everett, Washington. Hi there, Ray.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for having me.
So I read a story about you and Amazon and your 13-year-old cat, Fifi. Wow, what a drama that is. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
So take us back to that day.
This was Sunday, 10 days ago. We came home at about 10 p.m. We've been running around for a couple of days. It was my son's wedding the day before. And we came home. And we're prepping, Yeah. And the next morning, we noticed that our cat is not around. We started looking for her. Couldn't find her anywhere. Very abnormal. My cat will come from a mile away when she hears us calling. We started going through our surveillance videos from our security cameras, and we saw that at 9:10 the night before, basically about 45 minutes before we came home, an Amazon delivery driver dropped off a packet at our front porch. On her way out, she started playing and petting the cat, which is
pretty typical.
I have lots of videos of Amazon drivers petting the cat. She's always either on the porch. She's an indoor-outdoor cat. The video cuts out because the cameras are motion sensors activated, and they take 30-second videos.
I see, yeah.
So when the second video kicked in, you see her driving away, and the cat's nowhere to be found. So we had suspicions. We weren't 100% sure. A few days later, while we're trying to get Amazon to get back to us or talk to the driver, or the driver get back to Amazon, Amazon confirmed that the driver has the cat.
Oh, wow.
And they confirmed that the driver will be returning the cat with coordination with law enforcement.
See, wait a minute, that's just kind of weird, isn't that? I mean, that's bizarre.
Very, very bizarre. And on top of that, 3 days later, I get a phone call from the sheriff's department because I had filed a report saying we're going to pick up the cat, and we got very excited. Finally, the ordeal is done. 2 hours later, the deputy calls me saying I got bad news. The driver told us that the cat got away a few days ago and is nowhere to be found. What's worse is neither the sheriff's department nor the driver nor Amazon would even tell us the area. Like I said, we can't tell you. I said, have her make up a phony email and send me an email and delete it after that if she's worried about anything. Just give me a 2-block radius.
Right.
If that cat hears me, I can find the cat. I can still save this. And nothing. And on top of that, I've got a dozen emails from Amazon brushing me off. On top of that, I got Amazon executives, whoever it is in charge, offering me stuffed animals that look like the cat. They asked me if I can send. Oh yeah. They asked me to send them a picture of the cat so they can send stuffed animals to my granddaughters to ease their pain.
Okay, that's an insult.
Is that?
Yeah, that's an insult.
Yeah. So on top of that, this is a little bit of background that I need to clarify. This obviously has gone viral now, and the vitriol that is spewing with social media and online and people calling us names, telling us, it's our fault, the cat should be always inside. People saying, if I drive by your house and there's something outside, it's mine. Take care of your stuff.
Oh, you're kidding.
It is. My wife shut down her social media with all the crap and negative comments and insults they're hurling so that everybody hears this. Our cat was a rescue. She was abused. She had a broken tail, and she was not supposed to survive because she had asthma. The reason she's thrived and been healthy for 13 years is because she's an indoor-outdoor cat. Because indoors, her asthma would always come back, so we'd have to let her outdoors. That was the first thing that made a huge difference in that cat's life.
For sure.
She's very healthy. She hunts. There's other cats in the neighborhood. We don't have coyotes or hyenas or goblins or whatever, things that people are coming up with that we put our cat in danger with. There are so many, so-called keyboard warriors out there that without knowing anything, they're basically making excuses and defending the perpetrator and blaming us.
Yeah, but the Amazon driver took the cat. I mean...
Yeah, but she's justified.
I mean,
because the cat was outside.
You know what? People suddenly, when they want to take up a cause or they want to join a group, it's almost like Lord of the Rings. I mean, they assume this awful personality that if you were in person, they would never say anything like this to you. But suddenly they think they're anonymous because, like you said, they're a keyboard warrior. When they don't have any knowledge of the situation, they don't know what's going on, but suddenly they think they're an expert. And it's like, oh, this is what really happened. It's like, just shut up already. You don't know.
Yeah. No, it's the assumptions that people make. And here's the sad part. This is obviously not something that wasn't something that was even on our radar. But now, if you go online and just search Amazon drivers stealing pets, you'll be surprised at how many of those cases you would see nationwide. I was flabbergasted. And I'm going, this has been happening in so many places with so many drivers. Amazon has gotten so big, they'll hire anybody to deliver. There's no real accountability. I'm assuming they do background checks for people handling packages that are expensive. We're giving them access to our addresses, to our personal information for people to show up anytime at our doorsteps. And yet this happens, and they literally cover it up.
They won't do anything.
No. Well, I mean, I could have gotten a stuffed animal that looks like my cat, so I might still take them up on that.
You know what? I would take them up on it just so I could make fun of them. Just like, let's say your kid vanished. What am I going to do? Give you a doll? You think that's going to make me feel better?
Well, according to Amazon and everybody else, I shouldn't have my kid, or in this case, grandkid, playing on my front porch, because then it's a free-for-all. Anybody should be able to take her.
Unfortunately, when your wife did the right thing, is to just delete the social media account, delete all the trolls, because that's what they are, and they prey upon people. And they, for some reason, they get their jollies off of being mean to other people. And then they all chime in. It's really a sick side of America. Instead of like banding together and saying, you know what, I live in this neighborhood, you live in this neighborhood, let's try to see if we can find the cat. Let's all band together to try to find the cat. But we're not doing that. I mean, that's this is why social media is so destructive to America. It really is. And I know people are going, well, there's a good side to social media. Yeah, I know that there's a good side to social media. But when this happens, you don't have to expound on somebody's pain. You don't have to make it worse. Of course, you have all of your own opinions, and you're happy to go ahead and post your own opinions, but you don't have to make it a personal attack on whoever's not feeling great because of something that happened in their lives. I mean, what is that? Have empathy. I know it's hard on social media, but have some empathy. Hey, Ray, thanks for coming on board to tell your story. And, word to the wise, put a little GPS tracker on your animals. Not to say that the Amazon driver isn't going to be able to take that off of the pet, your dog or your cat, but also make sure that your animal is also microchipped too. So in case the cat or dog does get found, that maybe they can be returned to the rightful owner. Again, Ray, thanks for being here with us. What a crazy story. A catastrophe. Get it? Catastrophe. Ooh, bad one. I don't know if you heard about Sidewalk. I've talked about it a few times here on the show, but they say it's Amazon's neighborhood network. And basically, you share a little bit of your bandwidth with your neighbors so that this way Amazon has their own, mesh network. Now, Amazon says it's completely encrypted and neighbors can't access neighbors' data. But, I turned my off, and I think that you should too. Open the Alexa app, go to the Amazon Sidewalk settings, and again, just turn it off. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as that tip about how to track when someone's using your images without permission. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. Okay, it's happened to me, it's happened to you. You get a phone call, you look down, and you're like, oh, I don't recognize that number. So maybe you want to Google search it, but nothing comes up associated with that number. There's another way you can find out who's calling. And of course, we have all of your phone calls. But before we get to all of that, you may have heard this before. Drain your phone's battery down to 0 to make it last longer. Okay. Let me tell you, that's the last thing you want to do. Okay, that is just a phone myth. A long time ago, draining your phone's battery to extend its life may have been true. That's because those batteries weren't lithium ion, but now they are. Modern batteries actually degrade faster if you zero them out. So here's the rule. Keep your phone's battery level between 20 and 80%. Speaking of myths, myth number 2, only use the charger that came with your phone. That's the best one. But if you want a faster charger, make sure it's compatible with the device that you're using, or it might catch on fire. Yes, okay. And finally, never use your phone while it's charging. Okay. Using your phone while it's charging can generate heat, but most modern smartphones can handle it. So you want to avoid this if possible, okay? But these are some myths that I don't want you to keep repeating. All right, Pat in Melbourne Beach, Florida. Hi there, Pat.
Well, hi there, Kim. What a pleasure it is to talk to you. I'm a big fan of yours and of your newsletters. I love them, and I get so much from them. So thank you very much.
Oh, you betcha. That's kind of you to say. How can I help you?
Well, my husband passed away a few years ago, and since then I've been living on my own.
Okay.
And recently, a friend of mine, she kind of shared a concern. She says, if you should fall or something and you don't have your phone nearby or whatever, you really should get an Apple Watch. She says they got a great fall detection. However, I tried hers on, and I tell you, I don't like the look of it. I think it makes me look like I'm a Navy SEAL ready to go out on a mission. It's big, it's bulky, and I just don't like it. And then my niece came to visit. She had a Garmin, which was a bit smaller, but they only have a limited fall detection. So I have spent hours searching the internet. I want something that looks classy. I want something that looks good for casual and for dressy occasions, and I just can't seem to find it. I don't care about the emails. I don't care about texting.
You just want
on
fall
the watch.
detection. Yeah.
I just want fall detection, and I don't want one of those things that you wear around the neck that screams, "You're old." I want something that looks classy, and it doesn't look like a rubber inner tube around my wrist. So,
well,
any hope in me finding something what I'm looking for?
Well, darling, there are so many different things that you could get.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about the Apple Watch. Okay.
Okay.
The Apple Watch is the best device for fall detection. It is, hands down, the best. And I know you may not be like this best fashion statement, but there are things that we can do. All right.
Okay.
Because I hear you. I don't want a rubber inner tube around my wrist either. Okay. Because it's ugly. It's just not attractive. And when, you're all dressed up, you're wearing your Balmain jacket, whatever it may be, your Louis Vuitton bag, and then you look down, you're like, ooh, what happened there?
Yeah.
It was like, I forgot to get dressed. Okay. So
we're on the same page.
Okay. So what you can do is you have your Apple Watch, but you change the band.
Okay.
So you could get a band that's all silver, all gold. They make Hermes bands.
Okay.
Because, we have to look at the functionality first, because you may have, like, for example, you could get the Fitbit Sense or the Garmin Lily, like you mentioned, which the Garmin Lily it's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty watch. Okay. I mean, it's not a Rolex, but it's a pretty watch. But when we start looking for fall detection, what I don't want you to do is get like a Fitbit Sense or a Garmin Lily or a wearable too, or whatever it may be. And because it looks good, you're like, oh, well, I can wear this, versus it doesn't look the best, but if I fall, somebody's going to be able to at least know I'm down. I'm not going to be here for like 3 days before anybody knows.
Right.
Okay. So that's where I'm going to point you back to the Apple Watch. And, there are different sizes of the watch, because you said it was really big. So,
right.
So go to the Apple Watch, go to the Apple Store, and they can show you the different sizes that will fit your wrist.
Okay.
And then on Amazon or even at the Apple Store, they sell bands that you can get rid of the ugly white, yellow, red, blue plastic band, but at least you know that you're going to be okay. Now, keep in mind that, if your phone is within distance and you can talk, then you can always ask the assistant, which I don't want to say, starts with the letter S, to call your emergency contacts. Also set up your medical ID. Have you done that?
No, I have not.
Okay. On your phone, whether it's Android or Apple, we have the steps for both, is that you set up your medical ID. So in the unlikely event that you cannot open your phone for paramedics or emergency services, that inside there, it lists what medications you're taking, who to call, what your home is, what your home address is, just pertinent information. Up to and including,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, up to and including that you can also be linked and you can download a copy of your medical records and put it on your phone as a PDF file too. So
very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if there was a cyber attack and the hospital couldn't pull up your records, you have it on your phone.
great.
Yeah, so
that's great.
And again, it's not going to be the prettiest thing. You have to remember that tech nerds are designing these things. Okay.
Okay.
And they're designed for function, not for attractiveness. And Pat, thank you for all your kind words about the newsletter. In case you haven't already signed up for the newsletter, head over to getkim.com. Hey, if you need recommendations on an Apple Watch, just go to commando.com and search for Apple Watch, or just hit that shopping icon, because we have all kinds of reviews over on the website, which, by the way, if you haven't seen our new website, it doesn't suck anymore. It's nice. It's streamlined. Not so many ads. And guess what? The search bar actually works. Oh, shocker. All right. If you're ever wondering about whether an image that you see online is legitimate or not, you can always just do a reverse image search using Google. But what if you're a photographer, an artist, and you want to know the moment that someone uses your work and violates your copyright? Well, here's the deal, is that you can do this. You want to go to a site called Pixie.com. That's Pixsy, Pixie.com. It will track up to 2,000 of your images and then alert you the moment that someone uses it. And they'll also help with those takedown notices too. They're going to take a cut of the action just to let you know up front. I mean, nothing's free in this world. It's Pixsy, Pixie, Pixsy. All right, still to come, a trick to know who's behind an unknown number. You're going to love this tip. You don't want to miss it here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, back to the phones we go with Nina in Reno, Nevada. Hi there.
Hey, Kim, I am so excited to be talking to you.
Well, thanks for being here.
Oh, my God. You're welcome. Anyhow, I got to give your employees a thumbs up. They are just adorable.
They are. I'll tell you,
tell.
I'm so lucky. I have the greatest team. I really do.
Yes, absolutely. So, how is it in Phoenix?
Now, Phoenix, let me tell you, it's 182 degrees. Okay.
God.
So, well, I exaggerated. It's 115, but it feels like 182.
Oh my God.
I know. It's like, what's going on? But what's on your mind, Nina?
Well, listen, when the breach came up, the Microsoft breach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're talking about the CrowdStrike?
Yeah, and I got very concerned about my personal PC because I didn't know if it affected, AT&T, who then, are my carriers for my internet, and anything would come, falling down into my lap. So,
well, let me explain to you what happened.
Information.
Here,
yeah.
Okay. So here you have this company, a big cybersecurity company by the name of CrowdStrike. Okay. And they take care of cybersecurity, make sure that Windows computers don't get hacked in a whole slew of companies, about 30,000 different customers. Now, before you sit back and you go, 30,000 companies, that's not a lot of customers when you consider how many companies are around the world. But those 30,000 companies accounted for about 8.5 million PCs. And these are big companies like healthcare, the airlines. I'm sure you saw all the stories about Delta, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they push. So this CrowdStrike pushed down an update. Notice I used the word push. Okay, you had to get the update. They didn't thoroughly test it, and it made the Windows PCs, the 8.5 million, just kind of crap out. That's technical speak for blue screen of death. Didn't work.
Okay.
So then CrowdStrike's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So then they pushed down another update. That this time they did test properly, and solely these systems got back into action one by one. Sometimes these computers had to be rebooted. Think about this, 15 times in a row. Wow. 15 times. Could you imagine sitting there with your computer, rebooting it 15 times? No. Okay. So as far as the risk level to you, not so much, because you're not a CrowdStrike customer. But it still makes you kind of sit there and say, well, what do I need to do? Keep your system updated, turn on automatic updates, make sure you have antivirus software, turn on the firewall, two-factor thing, all this good stuff that we keep preaching, time and time again.
Right.
Right. And, and review your security settings every once in a while. But, so if you're worried about, did the CrowdStrike actually affect me? That answer is no, it didn't. If you're sitting there at home and everything's all working hunky-dory, But if you are a big company and CrowdStrike was providing you these cybersecurity updates, just know that some of these systems are still crawling. They're still trying to get back in action. But it proves a vulnerability that we have, don't we? I mean, think about this. 30,000 companies relying on one company to provide all these security updates so that this way they wouldn't get hacked or ransomware or whatever it may be. And so the guy who's in charge of CrowdStrike, he has to go to Washington, I think pretty soon over the next couple of weeks to kind of say exactly how his company works and how he's going to make sure that this does not happen again, which it probably will. Hey, Nina, thank you for your call today. There's a lot more that happened with that whole CrowdStrike fiasco, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about it as time goes on. Steve in Richland, Washington. Hi there, Steve.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good. What's going on?
Well, I had a dilemma, and I bounced it off some of my techie relatives, and they couldn't help me, so I thought I would go with the best.
All right. Awesome.
So my wife and I retired, and we like to go to Mexico, and we have a resort we go to almost exclusively. And our issue is they have great Wi-Fi, but their routers are all outdoors because everything's made out of concrete with rebar in it. And,
sure.
And so when it's 800 degrees on the deck in the afternoon, it's not really very fun to go outside and try to pick up the Wi-Fi. So I have been asking around trying to figure out how I could maybe put something on the deck or something to boost the Wi-Fi so I can sit in the air conditioning in the afternoon. Anyway, that's kind of the dilemma.
And this is this is your first world problem right now. I'm on vacation. I'm in Mexico with my beer and my chips and my guac, and I don't want to be outside.
Well, yeah, not on the veranda when it's in the afternoon. It's hot.
Not at all. I know. I hear you. Basically what you're looking for is a really small Wi-Fi extender. Okay. And you're going to put that extender, somewhere on the patio where you can, or inside. You'll have to kind of figure out where you can get the more bang for your buck as far as the signals that are coming in because of the rebar and because of the concrete. That makes it a challenge.
Sure.
But maybe you put on the patio something. They might have just some outdoor antennas that you can tap into. So you have a little Wi-Fi extender, and it will actually help you find the best location. It has a light right on the front of it to show you the signal strength. And then you can just go ahead and tap into the Wi-Fi, extend the range of the whatever router, whatever access points that they have there. And it's not going to necessarily increase speed, but it will give you more bars where you don't have any right now. So there's several out there that you can buy. The one that I like is from a company called TP-Link. And if you hang on the line, we're going to send that out to you. Since we can take a look at it on Amazon, it's always on sale, it seems like, but this one's between, $55 and $60. It's the TP-Link AC 1900. Ooh, doesn't that sound official? I'm sure it's going to work out for you. You can also get a travel router. That's what some people also tap into as well. But I think, why don't you just go ahead and try the extender first? The travel router is really good, by the way, if you're ever on a cruise. And there's only one device that's allowed in the room, that you can use a travel router, and then you can have more than one device hooked up, and you don't have to pay per device for that room when you're on a cruise, just FYI. So again, TP-Link AC 1900. Rich, hang on the line. We'll give you a direct link over at Amazon, and thanks for your call. Hey, listen, if you're just too shy to come on a big time radio show, I get that, but I still want to hear your questions. I want to know what's on your mind. And I know that you want to leave me messages all over social media. You want to DM me, but I'm telling you, the best way for you to make sure that I see your note every single time is for you to go to komando.com and hit that link that says Ask Kim. You want to go to KOMANDO, komando.com, the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show and all things Komando. And then there's a link right at the top that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. And of course, every single time I say that, there's somebody who goes, oh, I'm going to try to trick Kim Komando and prove that she doesn't. Okay, so you think that you're being like super clever, and then you're going to drop me a note that says, well, if you read this, Kim Komando, hit reply. You know what? I'm not gonna. I don't have time to play games, but I do have time to take a look at every single note that you send me. I try to answer it here on the show, maybe in one of our tips, or maybe say within one of our free newsletters. So again, that's komando.com, Ask Kim. If you ever get a text from an unknown number, Mobile payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal can actually help you put a name to that number. Here's what happens. You just paste that number into the app, and then the mystery sender's name might just be revealed. I tested it out on a number who I knew someone had a Venmo. Their name just popped right up. Now, this hack only works if you have an account with the mobile payment app and the sender has to use their real name and phone number inside the app. Now, the flip side is maybe you don't want this to be so easily tracked for you. Well, you can make your account private and in the app settings, just under Friends and Social, toggle off phone contacts. Once again, toggle off phone contacts. Speaking of Venmo, does the Vatican accept Venmo? No, they only take PayPal. Sorry, you got that? They only take PayPal. Oh, I know. That was a bad one, too. Hey, don't forget to enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card. You want to go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
All right, here's a hip and cool and groovy new word just for you. Are you ready for it? Kitten fishing. Kitten fishing. What do you think that means? It's not like catfishing where you're pretending to be a whole different person. It's when you go online and you present just a slightly better version of yourself, like maybe using a photo from, say, 10 or 15 years ago, saying that you're 5'8" when really you're 5'5 3/4. Or you suddenly use like Facetune in order to just look flawless like me. Okay, just kidding. Again, that's called kitten fishing. Kitten fishing. Because when you do this, the other person, when they meet you, will be like, "Are you kidding me?" Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, I heard that. It was a bit of a groaner. I understand. On that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. You just tapped into the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because let me tell you something. You better be tech ahead or you're going to be left tech behind, okay, in the dust. And you can find the Kim Komando Show across 420 fantastic radio stations here in the United States or streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And you can now find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. Now, let me tell you, great sponsors help to make this show possible, and I always negotiate these exclusive money-saving deals for you. And to see all the deals, the promo codes, and to get those special links, go to komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. All righty, every single day, I do it just for you and for me as I make sure that we know what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things you need to know. And let's start with, if you use TikTok, you've heard me say this before, you're carrying around your very own Chinese spy balloon. Yeah, it collects all your texts, your email, your photos, your travels, your voice print, your fingerprint. And TikTok's parent company is called ByteDance. It's located in Beijing. Now, ByteDance gives all your personal data it collects to the communist China government because that's what they do, right? But TikTok isn't the only app that ByteDance owns. So here's what happened this past week. The U.S. House of Representatives said that staffers are now banned from using all ByteDance apps. And so what are they? There's the photo editing app CapCut. There's HiPic, another photo editing app. A chat app by the name of Lark. A social media app by the name of Lemon8. Why? Again, it all comes down to TikTok's ties to communist China. So if you are using any of these, you shouldn't be, because again, it's tracking everything that you're doing and reporting it right back to communist China. Moving on, ChatGPT 4.0 was just announced, but now we have 5 is expected to arrive sometime later this year. And OpenAI says it's going to make you feel like you're actually speaking to a person rather than a machine. It's going to mark a major advancement in natural language processing capabilities. That wasn't me speaking. That was Sam Altman. Now, the big difference here is that it's going to really be a personal assistant. You can give it a whole bunch of emails, and then it will try to understand and give you a pattern and summarize them. Tell you when you're going to be late for something. And so really just integrate everything that you have in your life, and it's going to all run through OpenAI and ChatGPT. Yeah, all your stuff is going to be fed into AI and end up, we don't know. So right now, ChatGPT costs $20 for the expanded version. No word yet on how much ChatGPT 5 is going to cost. Hey, if you're dating online, you really need to listen to number 3. Apps like Bumble and Hinge, it was reported this past week that they are giving away your location to creeps. And I'm not just saying like, oh, she's somewhere in Phoenix. I'm talking about she's in this room. Okay, the location is down to 6 feet. Researchers at this Belgian university called KU Leuven figured out how to do it with what they call Oracle I'm not even going to say it. Researchers at Belgian University KU Leuven figured it all out. These apps let you filter matches by distance down to the foot. They don't show you the exact location, but they use super precise measurements behind the scenes. So if you're using Bumble, Hinge, Grindr, this is all the ones that we know right now, is that even without an exact GPS coordinate, somebody knows where you are down to 6 feet. Oh, gosh, I'm telling you. You really have to watch out. You should be on these apps. Go find some other way. Go to church. Go meet somebody that way. Moving on to number 4. This is a crazy story. A high-level executive at Ferrari gets a call on WhatsApp from the Ferrari CEO, Benedetto Vigna. Now, this is not the usual way that Vigna contacts him, so the C-level exec is a little apprehensive. But when he gets on the phone call, gosh, it sounds just like the Ferrari CEO. The scammer starts to say, hear about the big acquisition that we're planning. I could really use your help. Italy's market regulator and Milan Stock Exchange have already been informed. Stay ready and please use discretion. And then the scammer tries to get him to sign an NDA. Okay. Meanwhile, the C-level exec's like, I'm not feeling like this is a true story. I'm not feeling like this is really the Ferrari CEO. So I'm going to test him. So then he says, Vigna, what book did you lend me last week? And then the scammer hung up. Gosh, isn't that something? You might want to try that if that ever happens to you. Finally, this coming in at number 5. Imagine you're just sitting at your desk, scrolling through emails, a pop-up appears and says, uh-oh, your subscription to your computer mouse has expired. Yeah, it's not the battery. I'm talking about a subscription. Logitech is exploring the idea of a forever mouse. You buy it once, it lasts forever, as long as you keep paying for it. Logitech CEO Hanneke Faber explained this wild idea to The Verge, saying, yeah, you never have to worry about it again, which is not unlike our video conferencing services today. So what would you get? Automatic updates. No new features, no magical transformations, just updates. It seems like everywhere you turn, somebody wants to give you a subscription for something, for your computer mouse. Gosh, I was just talking the other day to John, our IT genius here. I'm like, with everything that Apple has done, why could they not invent a mouse to work with my iMac that doesn't run out of battery juice? Why? There's got to be something they could do. Speaking of, my pet mouse Elvis died last night. I know, it was very sad, very sad. My pet mouse Elvis died. He was caught in a trap. All right, coming up, I have some AI tricks that you're going to want to try. And we have a great conversation with Ben. He won $500,000 playing Candy Crush. Yeah, $500,000 playing Candy Crush. And of course, we have all of your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. If you have not already entered to win, do it now while you're thinking about it. Winfromkim.com. I'm giving away a $1,000 vacation gift card. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. All right, Glenn in San Jose, California. Hi there, Glenn. Glenn in San Jose, California. Hi there, Glenn.
Kim, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. What's happening?
Well, it's been a multitude of things. I just moved back to San Jose recently. I lived here for pretty much 40 plus years. Unfortunately, 2018, my wife died. And so I moved away because I didn't want to live in the home. And I moved back because my daughter was having a kid. And ever since I've been back 6 months, I've just had this really weird, association. These people, as we speak, they're walking by and they look at me like really weird. Nobody is, the beautiful part of it is I haven't been accosted. I haven't been assaulted or anything like that,
So
And I'm
wait.
thankful
So
for that.
you're saying like people are just walking by and they're looking at you through the window in your house or what?
No, well, no. I'm just up at a park,
Okay.
and
All right.
I'm just. It's really a beautiful day here in California, and I'm just sitting out, just relaxing, enjoying my day.
Okay.
But it's like anytime I leave my home, whatever I'm doing, and this just started happening maybe about 2 months ago. That this has been occurring. And some weird things happened with my bank account. Somebody tried to access my account. Fortunately, I have a few things in place where, that wasn't able to happen.
Okay.
But I know that growing up where I grew up, if you do things to people, you could have consequences. So I asked myself, have I done anything to have consequences?
Wait. You know what?
The answer, no.
Okay. Just stop for a second.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So, because you're losing me.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you think somebody's like hacked into your devices? Do you think somebody's
Yes.
stalking you?
Yes.
What concrete evidence do you have?
Well, I'm not sure if I could say it's concrete evidence, but every time I pick up the phone and talk on the phone, I can hear. We used to call it like a party line, but I guess I can hear people listening to my conversation, and they just kind of talk about some things that are going on that I'm talking about, right? And I can hear them. But here's what's weird is that I asked other people, "Can you hear that?" And they're like, "No, I can't hear it." So my daughter works for a tech company here in San Jose, and she's like, "Dad, the way it works is like, you could possibly hear things, but other people can't." So I'm okay with that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
And I'm not a tech guru. I don't know anything about all of these things.
Why would somebody pick you over anybody else?
I haven't a clue.
Okay.
I wish I knew.
All right. Okay.
And that's the $1 million question. Why?
Okay.
I don't understand.
All right. So here's what you can do. Okay. Is that number one is you start documenting this.
Right.
Okay. Start keeping a list of when things happen, how it happens, and then see if there's any type of correlation. Sometimes if you hear somebody on your phone, it could be that there could be some radio frequency with something that's happening, out that has nothing to do with your phone. It just happens to be where you're standing. Maybe some transmissions that are happening in and around you. Okay. If somebody's trying to hack into your bank account, let me tell you, that happens to everybody all day long. Okay.
Okay.
Through phishing scams, text scams, you name it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm glad that you secured all your finances. You want to make sure that you have all really good passwords and make sure that your router's locked down. Okay. But I want you to be really careful about going down a rabbit hole where you start seeing things that don't exist, because that
I
happens.
can understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
That happens to people. It's kind of like, like when you were a kid and you wanted to buy a certain car, you looked at that car and you're like, dang, I'm going to buy that Corvette one day. I'm going to buy that Mustang one day. Okay. And then everywhere you look, you see that car. When 6 months ago, you didn't even notice that car. So I've heard this from so many people where they start hearing things, they start believing things. And I'm not saying it's not happened to you, but I want you to be realistic about how come you're so important that they're going to be contacting you? They're going to go after you. What do you have? Okay. Because
I don't.
Right. Exactly.
And there's the thing.
Exactly. So
and like I
that's,
said, this experience hasn't been, forever. It just started happening recently.
okay. And I'm not saying that it's not happening, but so if you can actually document when it happens, then then you can say, okay, this was a scenario that happened there. This was the circumstances that happened. I mean, you can go to law enforcement and you can go talk to the local police and the cyber division and say this is going on, and they'll file a police report, and but I'm glad that you're talking to your daughter.
Sure.
And because this way you can maybe she can point you in a direction. But I just want you to be really mindful of what exactly is or is not going on. And if you really believe that something's going on, you have to go to a higher authority than me. And what that is local police, maybe a family therapist who can walk you through some of these things that you may be experiencing. And I'm talking to everyone right now, not just to you, Glenn. I'm talking to everybody because, I have to tell you, folks, I get this in my email and DM'd on social and so many times a week, at least 25 times a week. And I just want you to be mindful. Again, I'm using the word mindful, that maybe it's not happening. Maybe it is. But if you start documenting it, that's when you can really see exactly what's going on. Then you can share that with somebody who you trust. All right, we're not quite at the point where AI can do the laundry. Oh, I'm crossing my fingers for that. But you can take some steps to maybe make your life a little bit easier. So here are some ways that you can use AI that maybe you never thought of before. Like, let's say the plants in your house are looking a little sad and bleak. What you can do is take a few pictures from different angles and then upload them to, say, ChatGPT and say, my plant looks like it's dying. What do you think's happening here? AI will analyze the images and then give you some advice, like adjusting the watering schedule or maybe checking for some pests. Maybe you've got a handwritten note, you're having trouble reading it. So you take a picture of that, upload that picture, and then ask AI, can you transcribe that note for me? And the AI is going to convert that handwriting into digital text. So making it a lot easier for you to read and also for you to share. Now, this one's kind of strange, okay? Say you're planning a trip and you want to make sure that you didn't forget anything. So you can say, I'm going to Italy for a week and here are the temperatures, give me a list of what I could pack. Or what you could do is take a picture of your suitcase and then say, tell me everything I can squeeze into here for my trip to Italy. Yes. See, so start thinking out of the box just a little bit when you're using those AI prompts. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls you don't want to miss, as well as some tips, tricks, and secrets here on The Kim Komando Show. I don't know if you know this, but there's a secret phone ID that gives away all your personal details. I'm going to tell you more about that, as well as if you ever are having trouble with Amazon, you're like, I just want to talk to a person. I don't want to chat. I actually want to speak to a human being, not an AI, a human being. Well, I've got the secret to make that magic happen too. And before we get to all of that, as well as we're going to talk to Ben about winning $500,000 playing Candy Crush, if you have an old laptop or PC laying around collecting dust, what I want you to do is to haul it out, because you can install a new operating system and bring it back to life. And no, I'm not talking about Linux, okay? There's a free operating system from Google called Chrome OS Flex, Chrome OS Flex. It's a version of Chrome that you can use on a laptop or desktop that's not a Chromebook. Now, let me tell you here at the top, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a Windows PC or a Mac. It just has a snazzy web browser that doesn't take up a lot of overhead to work. Now, the system requirements, very basic. All you need is an Intel or AMD chip with at least 4 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage space, and of course, a USB drive. Again, that's called Chrome OS Flex. Now, if you Google search it, do not download it anywhere else other than from Google, okay? Because there's lots of malware versions laying around. As a matter of fact, sign up for my free newsletter over at getkim.com, and I'll make sure that you always have the active link for this Chrome OS Flex, Chrome OS Flex. As I mentioned, Ben, oh my gosh, Ben Chin is his name. He is a Candy Crush professional. Okay, he's from Ohio. He's on a crazy high level, over 8,000. He just won the Candy Crush All-Stars tournament, beating out millions of players and taking home $500,000. See, I have a podcast called Kim Komando Today. It gives me a chance to speak to some really interesting people. So I thought, you know what? Ben won $500,000 playing Candy Crush. I think we should have a little chat with him. Here, take a listen. So, everybody's got to ask you this question. I know we're going to start at the beginning. Why Candy Crush?
Well, you see, I actually stumbled upon this tournament on accident.
Okay.
So Candy Crush has always been my time killer game. I just, every once in a while, maybe, playing a little bit before I go to bed at night, just kind of, playing here and there. after like a 2-week hiatus of not playing the game, I loaded it up one night before bed and I got a notification saying, hey, we have a tournament that's ongoing and there's $1 million prize pool. I was about to have a major surgery 2 weeks after that, and I was going to be stuck at home for 2 months. So I figured,
Perfect.
Why not? Why not? So I ended up, getting involved that way. And I started off, I was a little skeptical at first because I'd never heard of anything like this before. But I figured, hey, like I said, I'm going to be stuck at home for 2 months, not being able to do much. So I'll give it a shot and see what happens. And I ended up placing first place in each stage of the tournament all the way up until the end. And at the very end of it all, I got a notification saying, congratulations, you earned a chance to compete in Los Angeles for the $1 million prize pool.
Whoa.
And yeah, I was like, oh, awesome. That's great. And I didn't hear anything for months. I was kind of like on the fence, like, oh man, like I hope I didn't do all this for nothing, And then they eventually reached out and they flew myself and my best friend out to California, and I competed against 9 of the best players in the world, and it was an absolutely incredible experience. And I ended up winning it all and, taking first place.
So let's talk about the structure of the tournament, because 15 million people played. But obviously crazy. You didn't play all 15 million at once. How many people were in your first group?
Oh, man. To be honest, I didn't, for most of the stages, I didn't like swipe down the leaderboard, to see how many players were.
Well, you were on the top. You were number 1. Why even swipe down?
Well, yeah, because there were time limits for each stage of the tournament.
That's what I was going to ask.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to, waste any unnecessary seconds, taking a look at everyone's scores. I just wanted to keep on playing and keep building my own score and keep on, extending my lead if I had one.
So it was the highest score in a certain amount of time, and that determined who won the round or the heat or whatever.
Yes. So at the very beginning, to qualify for the tournament, it was the top 10 people that in the qualifiers that go on to the first knockout stage. From there, you go, the top 5 in the first knockouts move on to the second knockouts. Then from there, it's top 3. And then in the final knockouts, there were 3 rounds, and you had to place first place in all 3 rounds.
So this was a big deal. I mean, you really...
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're sitting there at home for that 2 months playing Candy Crush, I mean, did you develop like any type of specific strategies, like cherries over oranges, or...
Yes. So throughout the course of the tournament, I had, it's all right. Yeah, I had several different strategies that I employed, and it really depended on what kind of level, I was coming across. Is it better to complete the level as quickly as possible, or is it better to stay on a level as long as possible to maximize how many points you get? And all of these different factors, have a play. And even after you complete a level, you're going to have a couple screens that come up with different events going on, different, prompts that come up that you have to close out before you can start the next level. So it's like I was, memorizing what events were going on, where the prompts were. So I'm already tapping on the screen before it even comes up. So that way, the millisecond it comes up, it clears. So there was a bunch of different stuff that I did throughout the course of the tournament.
Now, on your personal game, in your personal time, what level are you on?
Right now, I'm on level 8,000, like 300-ish.
I'm on like 33.
I'm on 2.
I'm only halfway to the end of the game. There's like 16,000 levels in the game right now. So.
You know what? That's crazy. Okay, so 16,000. You're gonna have to find a new game soon.
I don't think he's going to clear 8,000 levels tonight.
But so you're going at a pretty good clip. Now, what does your family think about the big win?
So, I mean, they're absolutely thrilled. Honestly, I'm pretty sure my mom and sister worried more about the tournament than I did. They were definitely, on edge the entire way through. And my mom really wanted to be out there, and see it all in person, support me. But she let my best friend have my +1 spot. So she was, as far as I know, she was definitely, they were all rooting for me, but they were definitely nervous, through the whole stage.
So you can hear our entire chat on Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Kim Komando Today, which is different than the Kim Komando Show. I know it gets so confusing. You can also watch our entire interview by heading over to youtube.com/Kim Komando, youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right. Did you know that there's a hidden code attached to your phone that gives advertisers and marketing companies access to your private data? It's called MAID, M-A-I-D, Mobile Advertising ID. Sounds pretty sweet, doesn't it? Your MAID is supposed to be anonymous and shouldn't be connected to your name or any other sensitive info, but as it turns out, not the case. There are reports of slimy data brokers who are boasting of collecting this MAID data and then connecting it to your personal information, like your full name, your address, your phone number, your IP address, okay? Now, there is a way to make sure that none of this happens to you. So on your iPhone or Android, I want you to go to Settings and then toggle off Disable Personalized Ads. Once again, Disable Personalized Ads. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as the secret to speaking to an Amazon customer service rep. That's a human being. Yes, that's right, here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, John in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi there, John.
Hello, Kim. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime. What's going on?
Well, it used to be you get a lot of emails, and I've learned how to control those, but I'm getting more and more text messages, political mostly. Today I got one from an insurance company that wanted me to get a flu shot, and I chose no, and then they wanted to know why, and then I told them, and then they wanted to say thanks. Is there something out there other than texting stop on each one to just control how many I'm going to get or which ones?
So you mean that do not call registry from the government is not working for you? Oh my gosh. I know. It doesn't work for anybody. Okay. All the spam and the text still comes through. And in case any of our listeners are saying like, what was that? Is that you can just go over to donotcall.gov and put your phone number on the list, but it's not going to stop anything. They can still get through. What kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
So on your iPhone, under settings and messages, is you can go, right now there's message filtering, and you can enable filter unknown senders. And then that's going to go into a special folder under your text messages. Now, if you're on Team Android, just for all of our listeners, it varies by make and model, but typically it's going to be in the message app settings. Now, if that does not work for you, John, inside the whole filter unknown senders, is that there are certainly third-party apps that you can get from your cell phone provider. Take a look at that, because all of them are now providing free apps that will limit the spam text from getting through, as well as the spam phone calls. And then you can also take a look at some third-party programs like Truecaller, or RoboKiller, I think is another one. Another one's called Hiya. We have a lot of information about this over on the website. Now, one of the things that you can do is when you start getting all these spam text messages, and keep in mind, if it's political, there's some fine lines there that let the politicians get through. Isn't that a coinky-dinky? But anyway, you can report your spam text to your carrier by forwarding the message to spam, which is 7726 on your phone. So if you get a spam text message, you want to report it to your carrier, just go ahead and forward that. Again, that number is 7726, which spells out spam. If you need more information about these third-party programs, as well as any type of apps that your particular carrier may have, just head over to the website, komando.com, and search for, say, killing spam texts or spam text messages, and I'm sure a tip or two is going to pop right up for you, free for the taking. And John, thank you for your call. Tron in Branson, Missouri, you're up next.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How can I help you?
Well, I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I'm working here in Branson for the veterans. I'm part of the Branson Veterans Task Force, which is a group of, there's 12 of us on the board. And that's pretty much all we are, except we have a lot of people that volunteer to help. And we do things all through the year for veterans.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Of what we do?
Yeah, for sure. And first of all, thank you for your service. I mean, it's, I was at an airport a couple of weeks ago, and there was a gentleman standing there by just getting ready to get on the plane, and he had on a Vietnam baseball cap. And Vietnam War rather. And I said to him, you know what, sir, thank you for your service to our country. He got all teary-eyed, and I said, are you okay? And he said to me, it just means a lot, because when I was younger, people spit on us. And
that's terrible.
It was just, I just looked at him. I was like, and I said to him, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I said, but I thank you. My family thanks you. And then Then he kind of wiped the tears away from his eyes. And he's like, I get that. I understand. And I gave him a hug. So I'm like, can I hug you? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay.
So we do a Purple Heart reunion, and I'm a Purple Heart recipient. I have two Purple Hearts myself, and we do a reunion every year. We just had one in May, and next year it's going to be in April, and it's for Purple Heart veterans. Wow. And we have some of the things that we have that are available for the veterans. It's a 4-day event, and we have a fishing tournament for the veterans. We have a ladies, a rose ceremony for the ladies.
That's nice.
The veterans.
So how can I help you?
Well, I'm trying to get the word out on it. I'm thinking of developing. We have a website, Branson Veterans Task Force, and we have all of the events listed on there, dates, times, like the Purple Heart reunion, which is in April of next year. It tells you what goes on, what it costs, lodgings included. Meals are free for veterans.
So are you trying to spread the word on what's going on in Branson?
I am, around the country, exactly, because we get veterans from all over.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just veterans here. We get them from out west, east.
Well, let's talk about how you can spread the word. You said, you mentioned a web page, and the problem with the web page is that if you build it, they may not come. So that's where I would be more inclined to say, let's start establishing a good social media presence. I'm talking about Facebook, Instagram, definitely YouTube. Have a YouTube channel. And LinkedIn, and then start engaging the audience. Talk about what you have planned, and maybe ask for some volunteers. Put some links to how people can sign up. Of course, you can have also an email newsletter, which if you don't have an email newsletter, you're missing out. Okay, because that's an easy way for you to have direct access to each and every one of the vets and their families who may be interested in coming to Branson for your events. And you can just solicit email addresses for people to sign up on your social media. And that's really simple to do. You can, for example, just sign up at MailChimp. It's absolutely free. I think up to 1,000 email addresses. And for a nonprofit 501c.
501.
Yeah, see, I was going to say a 503. I'm like, no, it's not a 503. A 501c3 corporation is that they may even offer some special pricing for you as well. So why don't you give that a shot? And if you need any help along the way, just know, Tron, I'm always here for you. And again, thank you and all the vets for your service to our country. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time radio show and podcast, you can still send me your questions. The best place to do it, quite frankly, is on my website. Go to komando.com, and there's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. And I know you want to drop them on Facebook and X and Instagram and all over social media, and you want to DM me those questions too, even on LinkedIn. But the best place for you to send me the questions, because I read every single one, is at komando.com. And hit that Ask Kim link. When you have trouble with an Amazon order, there are times when it's easier to actually speak with a customer service rep than write this long note to a third-party seller or just deal with that chatbot. So here's the secret. An Amazon customer service rep will call you if you know this trick. When you're logged into your Amazon account, you go to the Contact Us page. Now, at first glance, it's like, oh, it's just an online chat with a customer service rep. Okay. It's a good starting point if all you need is, say, a delivery date or an order number or something like that. But when things get confusing and you actually want to speak to a person, if you look very, very closely underneath the yellow Start Chatting Now box in super small letters, you're going to see a link that says, we can call you. And you're like, yes, that's what I want. So you click that, enter your phone number, and then you get an estimated time before you actually receive the call. It's normally just a few minutes. Again, you look very closely underneath the yellow Start Chatting Now box, and then in small letters, you're going to see a link that says, we can call you. We can call you. That's what you want. Hey, don't forget to enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card. You want to go to winfromkim.com. Once again, it's winfromkim.com, and good luck.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 3.
Now, if you thought I was completely bonkers and nuts when I said that websites are dying right before our eyes, okay, you have to listen to this. Website builder Wix just launched some brand new AI tools. They're so happy about it. You can add blogs to your existing website. You don't need writers anymore. You don't have to think about it. AI will generate blog posts for your website so you can just sit back. Okay. The AI pulls information from your existing site and then writes all these new posts. So what this means is that the internet's going to be loaded with a whole bunch of AI crap before we even know it. Oh my gosh, just crazy. You know, I was writing about Ozempic and how it works on someone with diabetes the other day. And this is true. I hit a diabetes information website and then it popped up and it said, will you accept these cookies? And I thought, diabetic website. Is this a trick question? Okay. I know, that's how my brain works. Hey, on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kim Komando Show because after all, I'm Kim Komando. You just tapped into the biggest show, the most trusted show, and just the best show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because let me tell you, if you are not tech ahead, you are going to be left tech behind in the dust. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. And of course, you can find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Komando with a K. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. And I have to tell you, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And to tap into these money-saving deals, go to komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. All right, you can count on me to check out at least 35 different websites every single day. I'm talking about, weekends, weekdays, national holidays, even when I'm on vacation, because I want to make sure that you and I are never left behind. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening in the tech world. And we're going to start with the most difficult job interview you ever had. Think about that. What was the hardest interview you've ever had? Well, now people who are doing interviews, they have some AI helpers. That's right. Magical AI teleprompters. It works like this. You install this magical teleprompter app, and then you put your phone down, and you start doing this interview. And if the interview asks a difficult question, the AI comes up with the answer and then just feeds it right on the video screen. So you just read it off. The interviewer, they say, has no clue. You just aced it. One of these apps is called Copilot. Business Insider found that they've been involved in over 1.2 million aced interviews and 250,000 plus offers received just 3 months after the launch. That number seems too high to me. I mean, just after 3 months, 250,000 offers received. I think that they're doing some other type of magical stuff, if you get my drift. Moving on to number 2, car companies spying on us. We've talked about that here on the show. And the U.S. Senate is now investigating whether these car companies should disclose how they are selling this data. And as part of the report, they asked the car companies, what are you selling and how much money are you making from it? You are going to be totally shocked when you hear these numbers. Okay, let's talk about Honda first. Has data on 86,000 cars. They sold all that info, for just $26,000 over 4 years. That's about $6,500 a year. Okay. GM has 1.7 million cars. They say that they've sold the data for 61 cents per car. What? Somebody's not telling the truth here too. Ford, they're not even going to release their numbers, but they say that they have data on 8 million cars. Okay. Do you think that they're really selling that data? They're only making 61 cents a car. Come on. I mean, maybe somebody at the Senate believes them, but we don't. Moving on to number 3. Hey, if you are using Strava, you really need to listen up because on that app and also the Fitness Watch, of course, there's a weekly heat map. And it's a map of your area that shows where a lot of folks are doing their, say, morning run or walk or whatever it may be in the afternoon, whatever time of day. But when you use Strava's weekly heat map, you're basically sharing your route with the world. That's everyone. Okay. Now, the app tracks people's runs to determine their location. It's not really anonymous. In a busy city, it might not be a big deal, but if you are in a smaller community, your path could really stand out. So if you want to keep your route private, there are a few things you can do. Go into settings and then privacy controls and then map visibility. Oh gosh, I know that you're going to get lost on this. So I'm going to put this in the weekend newsletter. Okay, so if you get the newsletter, I'll have all the steps there. But in case you want to try it, settings, privacy, controls, map visibility, and then you're going to have an option that says contribute your activity data to de-identified aggregate data sets. Sounds harmless, right? Yeah, you want to uncheck that box. Moving on to number 4, if you get an email saying that something's wrong with your bank account and you need to turn your cash into gold, don't do it. Last week, I told you about that poor woman who lost $1 million. Now another guy in Maryland lost another $1 million. He got an email about a sketchy deposit in his account. The email said that he had to convert his money into gold to protect himself. Yes. So he bought over $1 million worth of gold bars and gave it to the scammers. It wasn't until he dropped off the final $240,000 in gold that he saw a news report about an 82-year-old woman who was taken for $900,000 in this gold bar scam. Can you get the gold bars back? No. So, PSA. If you get an alert that something's wrong with your bank account and the only way for you to protect your money is to get gold bars, don't do it. Okay? It's a scam. Finally, this number 5. If you died, would you want to come back to life? I mean, would you say I should prepare for this now so when I die, I can come back to life? For roughly $217,000, a German startup says that this is possible. Tomorrow Bio will freeze you as you die so that this way you can come back to life when the tech is there. It's called cryopreservation. They say that they've frozen 6 people and 5 pets. They have over 650 people who are waiting to be preserved. As you die, Tomorrow Bio's ambulance will pick up your body, the fluids in your body replaced with cryoprotectant, whatever that is. Your body's then taken to Switzerland to be stored, and then you're frozen at negative 324 degrees. And then you're rejuvenated when the tech can bring you back to life. Now, Tomorrow's Bio states that if there's any of your set-aside funds for storage and treatment left over, yeah, sure, you're going to get it all back once you're revived. Yeah. Talk about breaking the ice. All right, coming up, we have some really great things that you don't want to miss, like how to make a modern-day mixtape, how to hide your phone number making a phone call, how to add your pet to a free nationwide alert network, and how your tech could interfere with some medical implants. And, of course, we have all your phone calls, too. And you have me, Kim Komando. Just a quick reminder, if you have not already, make sure that you go to winfromkim.com. I want to give you a $1,000 vacation gift card. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, Kevin in Savoy, Illinois. Hi there, Kevin.
Well, first, it's great to talk to you. I've been a long-time listener and listen to the podcast all the time and learned a lot, so I really appreciate everything you do for us.
Awesome.
So really what I wanted to talk about today was these code academies.
Okay.
Things like, Code Academy itself. I guess there's a new one, Zero to Mastery, Treehouse, and so forth.
There's a ton. There's a ton of them out there.
There is, and I try to do some research, and I don't know sometimes what to believe. I try to take comments with a grain of salt. So I just thought, I don't know if you've spoken to this before, but I just thought I'd come to you and see what your thoughts were, if it's worth it.
Well, what is it that you want to do, and what have you done in the past, and how did you get to this spot?
Well, over time, I've just become more and more interested in tech, and it's something new, and, it's just something that I'm interested in trying. I have not, to be honest, even sat down and even try to find anything online that was free, just to see if I would like it, but I guess the thing is I just don't want to get into something and just waste my time doing it. If there's really a job market out there, I know it's not an equivalent to a degree itself, but something that, if my current, my current job goes by the wayside, I'd have something to fall back on.
Yeah, it's smart thinking. It is smart. You mentioned free, and since you've never done this before, that's probably where I would point you first.
Okay.
Is to look at Audacity, edX, Coursera, and see if there are some classes that you might really like. Maybe it's Python or whatever it may be. and to see if this is something that where you can actually sit down and do this, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day. Right. You have to be internally motivated. You got to be able to follow instruction, work with a team, be able to take creative criticism, support, take care of support tickets. You have to be self-motivated, really disciplined. And that's probably where I would point you first. And then, like you said, there's Zero to Mastery, there's Treehouse, there's Flatiron. There are also these, like I said, these boot camps that you could go to. The thing that I would want you not to go into coding is any type of a website.
Okay.
Anything that has to do with, because I think that skill set is dying, because I don't know if you're aware what's going on, but think of AI, right?
AI, yeah.
And right now, last number I saw was 68% of Google searches are down right now for people like us, publishers. And that's huge, because that means our traffic is down 68. That means our revenues are down 68%, which is happening. I mean, this is why I started a newsletter almost 2 years ago. Because when I saw AI, I thought, you don't have to go to a website anymore because you have a rash on your butt and to try to figure out what it might be. Now you can upload a picture of the rash, and pretty soon ChatGPT is going to give you a link over to Amazon to Neosporin so you can buy it. It's just that plugin hasn't been built yet. Okay. It's coming.
Right.
So, and it's kind of a sad state, because you look at all these people who have made really their careers based on search engine optimization. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Google gives you the answer right there, AI overview. It's really quite remarkable. And people don't believe me. I've had so many people around me saying, "Oh, Kim, you don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, yeah, I do. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And aren't they're doing coding as well. You can just ask it to code.
Exactly.
Code. I mean, it's probably a little bit primitive, but eventually it's going to be.
Yeah, I was talking to a coding instructor a couple of weeks ago now, and because I was asked, and he actually teaches code at a pretty big university, at Yale. And I said, so, are you letting the kids use AI to write the code? And he said, well, we know that they're using AI to write the code. He said, but the question is, can they code without AI? And then he said that they're letting the students upload all their code into AI to have it flag where it doesn't work. So I explained to him that many years ago, I was an expert at a trial where I was on Apple's side, okay? And they were suing somebody who had stolen their code. And I mean, I can't code anymore, but I used to be able to, because that's what I got my degree in, okay? And so I was there as an expert witness to say, okay, did they steal the code or did they not? And so what Apple would do, and I told this to my Yale guy I was talking to, is that what Apple would do is they would put in dummy routines. And so if somebody stole the code, there would be these dummy routines hidden in there, so that you could see whether or not that company actually wrote the code or they just ripped off the code. Because because those routines didn't do anything. They just went like from A to D and then back to A. And so I was pointing out those dummy routines in the Apple code to the jury, trying to explain to them that code is just a series of if, then, or else statements. Okay, and this one didn't go anywhere. So I was suggesting to him that, maybe he could use that in his classes or in his code to say that it was actually generated by him and not AI. So I just passed that along to see if maybe that might help you as you move forward, just something for you to stick in the back of your head. That you could always prove that you wrote it if you put in a routine that doesn't do anything versus if AI did it, So anyway, so I would try some free classes. And then, then what I'd like you to do, Kevin, is to give me a call back and tell me which ones you really liked. And if you didn't like it, maybe we can point you in a different direction. And that direction would be, ready for it? Drum roll, please. Cybersecurity and networking. Yeah, that's where you want to go. All right, so I mentioned Python. There are some other languages that you might want to look at. Of course, Java, C++, R. Julia is also a good language to learn. It's really for AI and machine learning tasks. There's Lisp. It's been around for a while. Prolog, and then finally Haskell. And if you need that list again, just hit the website. I'll post it over there. Now, if you want to hide your phone number when you're making a call, you can always just punch in *67. But you have to do that for every call. Now, there is a setting on your iPhone. Just tap Settings, then Phone, and then Show My Caller ID. So this way that your phone is hidden when you actually call somebody. Now, on Android, the option is called Hide Number. Just ask your carrier to hide your number too in a burner app. Now, you can also take it another step. You can ask your phone carrier to hide your number whenever you make a phone call, or you can use a burner app like Hushed or Google Voice. All right, still to come, the modern day mixtape. Oh, you're going to love this tip. And so stay right with me here with the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you have a pet, boy, I'll tell you, of course you're going to put an AirTag on your pet, but there's now this new free nationwide pet alert network I'm going to tell you about. And also later on, it's a huge problem how your tech could be interfering with your medical implants, and we have more of your phone calls. But before we get to all of that, remember when a friend of yours would make a mixtape, a cassette tape? I know, and some people are like, Kim, what's a mixtape? What's a cassette tape? Well, just forget about it, because now you can make your playlists. Okay. What you do is you log into YouTube and you create a new playlist, and then you give it a name, and then you start searching for your favorite songs. Maybe it's like Take It Easy by the Eagles or Careless Whisper by George Michael, whatever it may be. Okay. And then you start selecting the playlist, and then you add this to your playlist. You can arrange the order by dragging and dropping videos in this playlist view. And then you can also customize the thumbnail and notes, and then you can just share it and copy a link. I'm telling you, your friends are going to love it. Now, if you are looking for a wonderful summer playlist, I put one together for you. I made a yacht rock playlist, and you can listen to it over at youtube.com/Kim Komando, youtube.com/Kim Komando. I know we have, almost 1 million views. Not quite that many, but I know a lot of people are loving it. It's the yacht rock playlist. So if you're having a barbecue, or maybe you are out on your yacht or your boat, or just, cleaning up the house in the yard, whatever it may be, go to youtube.com/Kim Komando for my yacht rock playlist. All righty then, Bill in Sarasota, Florida. Hi there, Bill. What's going on?
Well, I have a bit of a conundrum. My wife has beat up her old Apple phone. And before I dive into all the new ones that are out, I got to make sure I get this right.
You're funny.
Happy wife, happy life,
Exactly. So which one does she have now?
I don't know. It's older than rocks. That's all I can tell you. But it does work. She just got her Series 9 GPS cellular watch. So we use, if that makes a difference, we have that on our phones too.
All right, that's awesome. Is she loving the watch?
Oh yeah, it's her, at least her second one.
Nice. All right, good. All right, so here's the deal. You said the magical phrase, okay? Happy wife, happy life, right? And so, is she an avid photographer?
No, but I think she's going to go more that direction.
Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. Anytime you're talking about photography, that's when you always want to look at the latest iPhone, because as the generations get better, right, all the capabilities gets better. And so right now, the top of the line is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Okay, that's the phone I have. It's a big phone, but it has a 48 megapixel main camera. It has 5 times telephoto zooms. It also has an ultra wide lens. And it's really just, when you see the photos that this phone can take, oh my gosh, Bill, it's astounding. I mean, and when you look at videos, it's almost as if you're looking at something that you would have expected to come out of Hollywood. Okay. And then you have all these different modes. You have action modes and macro modes and cinematic modes, especially for video. So if she's taking any videos, that's what she wants to do. The front camera has autofocus. And so this way, if she's taking a selfie or she's having a video call, it's going to look great. It also does HDR. So again, this is like the top of the line. And it sounds like she keeps things for a long time, huh?
Yes, we do.
So you could get the iPhone 14 Pro Max if, there's a budgetary issue. I wouldn't go anything lower than a 14 at this point.
Okay. Now, another question very quickly is that she does like whatever the model is to be the larger one because even when she uses personal computers and stuff.
So the Pro Max is the bigger one.
Okay.
Because it goes Pro, it goes Pro Max, and then they have SE is the little tiny one. But it sounds like you're going to look at the 14 Pro Max, or you're going to look at the 15 Pro Max.
What is the difference between the 14 and 15?
Probably about $300 or $400. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And also 1 year. The Pro Max does have a better image quality, and it does have better in low light performance. But when we start looking at, is it this much different? Not really. As a matter of fact, when I gave my husband my 14 Pro Max and I got the 15 Pro Max, I sat there and I thought to myself, I just wasted like $1,500. It's just like, and he's really thrilled because he came off the iPhone SE. And so, if you can't afford the 15, I would just go ahead and go with the 14 because they are essentially the same. Yeah, I know the 14 Pro Max has the A15 Bionic chip and the 15 Pro Max has the A16 Bionic chip. But, really, if you're just going to be sitting there taking some pictures, I would stick with the 14 or the 15. Don't go to 13 because you guys keep things a long time. Bill, thank you for your call today. All right, so imagine you're out for a walk with your dog. Gets startled, slips out of his collar, he runs off, panic sets in. Okay, of course, microchipping your pet is paramount. And of course, on that collar, you also want to put an AirTag. But let's say that collar does fall off. And that's why you want to look at the free Fido alerts. It's like Amber Alert for pets. Here's how it works. You go to FidoAlert.com, you register your pet. Your furry friend gets a unique ID number, and then you get a free ID tag with their name, the FidoAlert.com website, and a QR code. So if your pet goes missing, you can send a text or email alert to everyone on the Fido Alert network within a mile of where they were last seen. So if someone finds your pet, they can scan the QR code on the ID tag to get your contact information, and you'll be notified immediately. Again, it's free in case you want to check it out. FidoAlert.com. All right, still to come, how your tech could interfere with your medical implants and more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, let's see. Deborah in Charleston, South Carolina. Hi there, Deborah.
Hello, Kim. How are you today?
Good. What's going on?
Great. Well, thank you for all your help, and I'm a great fan of your show.
Oh, you're sweet. You're sweet. Thank you for that.
Really enjoy listening to you. I recently saw a video regarding the Amazon Audible and the app. Mm-hmm. Said it offers free training on a 4-step process. Is this legitimate, and how to tell if this is legitimate?
What were they telling you needed to do in order to make money?
It was about a 10-minute video just offering information. I really didn't click on the link to find out all the details.
Mm-hmm. Did they tell you how much money you could make?
It was various amounts. Had a couple of interviews, a quick clip with a couple of people telling what they were making, but it was various amounts.
Well, it's interesting. Did they say like you would have to do voiceover work, or what kind of work would you do?
It did not say, and I did not click on anything inside that video.
Okay. All right. Then it's probably not legit, because if something's legit, they're going to tell you right up front, normally. But if you want to check things out, I would go to Audible's official website, Amazon's job listings page, and see if there's anything kind of almost that's mentioned. The YouTube channel, whatever their name is that you could, put that into ChatGPT, Perplexity, or just do a plain old Google search and ask if it's legit. And then you may see reviews from various people that maybe have gotten taken by this. You can look at the YouTube comments, but if it's a scam channel, a lot of the YouTube comments are like, "Oh, this is great. I made $1 million," type of thing. If it's anything about being an affiliate or partner of Audible so that you could make money when people take a look at an audiobook and you're going to get a commission for that. Let me tell you something. You're not going to make a lot of money at that. The commission is like 0.0001 cent for every dollar, you know. But you're smart for not clicking the link. Is there something that you want to do?
I was just curious. Once I came across it, I was just curious about it.
Yeah, you know what? You can look at, I would also go to Reddit, Deborah. And there's a lot of forums on Reddit that actually go through various money-making schemes and opportunities and things like that. And so I would just type the name of this channel into Reddit, and I bet you're going to find a lot about it on Reddit now that we're talking. Yeah, but I'd go to Reddit. Hey, speaking of Reddit, Deborah, you might want to check this out too, and thank you for your kind words about the show, is that now there's a subthread Commando. So if you go to Reddit and go to the Commando subreddit, that's where you can meet an entire community of Kim Commando listeners, and people are swapping stories and getting help on tech questions and good things like that. So speaking of Reddit, you might want to check that out. And Deborah, thank you for your call and your kind words. Oh, this is a really interesting question, isn't it? Jan in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hi there, Jan.
Thanks a lot for taking my question. I read your daily newsletter every day, and I read every word in it, and I enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you. That's so nice of you to say, Jan. You know, it's a lot of work putting that out every day, and it's nice to get an attaboy every once in a while.
Yeah, I have several thousand photographs and several hundred documents that relate to my family's history, photos of grandparents and family events and so on, plus deeds and census records and more. I would like to do what I can to make sure these things are available to my grandchildren and to their grandchildren in the future, say maybe 100 years from now. Now, I have all these things in digital form stored as PDFs and JPEGs, and mostly stored on DVDs.
Okay.
So my questions for you are, will PDFs and JPEGs be readable in the year 2124? And how about DVDs? Will they be readable in 2124? And if not, how should I store everything?
Boy, you know, these are really great questions, right? I mean, you know, you sound like you've been around long enough. So you remember the zip drive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 8 tracks, cassette tapes, you know.
Yep. Yeah, they're all gone.
Reel to reel. Okay. You know, it's hard to predict where the data is going to be, say, 100 years from now, and how that data will be able to be read. You know, I always think back to, what do we still have today that's 100 years old? What is that, Jan?
Paper.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yep.
You know, archival ink on archival paper. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't save it in some type of archival format. I mean, like, for example, there are what's called M discs. And these are a special type of Blu-ray disc that's designed to last up to 1,000 years. Okay. You also have modern tape storage, LTO tapes, that are made for archiving data. And of course, you have solid state drives. You put everything up in the cloud. And of course, we have multiple formats. But it's really hard to say what's going to be available 100 years from now. Now, I will tell you that 100 years from now, and obviously you and I are not going to be around, is that everything's going to be stored in some type of digital format in that version of the cloud, whatever that cloud is at that particular time. And so what many people think is like, okay, well, I'm going to put an M disk with a make sure that I always have a blue disk reader that will be able to read that disk and move forward. But it still goes back to paper, right?
Yeah, I have all the paper and I plan to keep it, but I'm also looking to supplement that with a digital record.
For sure. You know, and again, if you want to store the photos in both JPEGs and TIFF formats, PDFs are good. You can use a combination of solid state drives, cloud storage. You always want to keep data in 3 different places, So paper may not be the only source for this particular data, but, multiple copies, different locations. And, you can, again, look at this M disk. They're not expensive. They're only like, I don't know, probably $15 for 100 gigs. And then there's a Pioneer burner that you're going to need, and that's about $200 or give or take. So just think about this as multiple formats, as you mentioned. Like you already have the paper. Then look at this MDisk, because I think that might be something that you might want to look at, because a lot of people are now thinking about this. Because we used to have data, like I said, like on zip drives. Gosh, you remember those, right? Floppy disks. Oh gosh, they weren't really floppy. Well, then you had the 3.5-inch disk, the 5.25 disk, and solid state drives, hard drives. I mean, it just goes on and on. And then don't forget, you also have your videos to contend with, which is, wow, they take up a lot of space. But so if you're looking for the future, look at these MDisks. These are archival disks that supposedly they last up to 1,000 years. Do we know if that's the case? Not yet. But if you're storing any archival data on these MDisks, make sure that you just put aside too with it is one of these burners and readers, because who knows what's going to be available 1,000 years from now. And I'm sure there's going to be some transitional plans, as say every 10 years, every 5-10 years, is maybe leave instructions that this is not an end all. Why don't you go ahead and see what the format is available now, and make sure that you pay it forward for the next generation. Jan, thank you for your call today. I love helping you out. I really, really do. But it really helps me if I know what you need help with, right? Okay, it's a two-way street. So what I want you to do is go to komando.com, and then up at the top, there's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. It's hard for me to respond to every single one. So when I do get your questions, I might answer it in a newsletter, might answer it here on the show. I might actually invite you to be part of the show with me so that we can have a discussion. So sometimes these tech topics are just, I don't know, it's just so much. It can't just be answered in like a 2-line email or even on a 400-word blog post. And so go to komando.com, and up at the top it says Ask Kim. And I know you want to drop me your questions all over social media, and every once in a while I do get a chance to see them. But for 100% surety that I'm going to see your question, the only place you should go is komando.com and hit that link that says Ask Kim. All right, your phone contains magnets and components that emit electromagnetic fields that interfere with everyday electronics. So what about electronics that may be inside your body, like a pacemaker? Okay, here's the truth. Apple has a whole page dedicated to how their devices can interfere with medical implants. You may not know this. Okay, this is big business when a company like Apple has to issue a widespread warning like this. Magnetic fields from iPhones can make implanted pacemakers and defibs malfunction. And it's not just iPhones. AirPods, MacBooks, Android phones, any earbuds, wireless headphones, smartwatches, they can cause problems too. So here's what you want to do. Keep all cell phones and Bluetooth devices at least 6 inches away from your chest. Now, if you're wirelessly charging, make that 12 inches. And then if you know someone with a medical implant, you want to do them a favor, help them out, and share this information. Again, keep all cell phones and Bluetooth devices at least 6 inches away from your chest. And if you are charging wirelessly, you don't need to double that. Make that 12 inches. And if you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card. You need a vacation. I can see it on your face. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something interesting and fun. And I have a question for you. How often do you get frustrated by these smart assistants? I'm talking about like Siri, Alexa, Google. Well, as it turns out, so many of us are. A new survey out by this website by the name of Gameland reveals that 1 in 3 Americans argue with their virtual assistants every single week. So what do you think is the virtual assistant that most people argue with? Well, it's Amazon's Alexa. Okay, now one step further. What state has the highest number of people who argue with their smart assistants every single week? Think of it. What state would that be? Now, I thought for sure it's going to be like somewhere on the Northeast. Wisconsin. That's right. Wisconsin tops the list with 77% of its residents yelling at their virtual assistants every single week. You could say that there's debris everywhere. Ooh, tough crowd. Get it? Cheese. I know, that was bad. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And let me tell you, you are about to get more tech smarts, because if you're not tech ahead, you are totally left tech behind. And if you're a brand new listener to the Kim Komando Show, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. And you know the drill. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Yes, wherever you get your podcast, just search for my last name, Komando. And let me tell you one thing. Great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate money-saving deals with them. And to see all the deals and the special links that you need, just go to one spot. That's komando.com/sponsors. Already, every single day of my life, whether it's a work day, it's a weekend, it's the national holiday, or even when I'm on vacation, you can count on me to scan over 35 to 40 different websites to make sure that we are both up to date with what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about right now. And we're going to start with some news about Tesla. Now, it should be clear to all of us that Tesla's autopilot feature is just not safe. And the question is, why? I mean, what's really wrong with it? Well, oh my gosh, I read the most interesting report this past week in the Wall Street Journal. Here's what they found out. What Tesla does not tell customers that it has been forced to report more than 1,200 autopilot-related crashes to the government over the past 3 years. Some, unfortunately, fatal. Now, both Tesla and the government withhold key information about these crashes from you and me. But the Wall Street Journal discovered that Tesla's autopilot struggles with avoiding dangerous objects ahead. In several of the crashes, the obstacles actually included police and fire vehicles with emergency lights flashing. Other crashes occurred when autopilot was engaged on, say, wet pavement and the car just lost traction. Now, in Tesla's defense, it tells drivers to always keep their hands on the steering wheel at all times. But that kind of raises a question. Why would you include this unsafe autopilot feature at all? Let me tell you, I had a Tesla. If I had trusted the autopilot several times, I would be dead right now. Oh my gosh, I tried it like 3 times. It just was so frightening to me. All right, moving on to number 2. When you're browsing the internet, there's a really good chance that you're going to run across political posts from a so-called local news outlet that you've never heard of. It's direct from the Kremlin, of course, the very heart of the Russian government. But it's not just them. China and Iran are heavily involved too. So with only a few months left until the election, these enemy nations are actively targeting Americans to spread false news about candidates. So what appears to be someone's social media account will actually repost a legitimate looking news story, but it's not legit. Both the reposted story and the social media account are phony, and it's probably there because of somebody in Russia, China, or Iran. They're just fabricating these massive computer centers. They have people working 24/7. So the bottom line here, do not trust a source that you don't recognize. Always fact check. Moving on to number 4, where in the United States do you think people get scammed and defrauded the most? Okay, what state would this be? I'm going to give you a hint. Wisconsin's not even in the top 5. The top states are, you ready for it? Starting with number 5, Maryland. Then comes Delaware at number 4, Florida at number 3, Nevada at number 2, and the number 1 state, are you ready for it? Yes, Georgia. Georgia is getting hit hard. They had over 177,000 fraud reports to the FTC, which works out, if you do the math, 1 case for every 60 people. That's 62% higher than the national average. Now, most of the scams in Georgia involve stuff like people pretending that you missed jury duty and they need you to come down and give them some gold bars, or there's a warrant out, a traffic ticket. Bitcoin scams, really big in Georgia too. So definitely not peachy keen. Okay, what city takes the cake for the most identity theft in the country? Also credit card fraud. What city is that? It's Miami. All right, moving on to number 4. When you're looking for a hotel, a restaurant, a job, or any service online, everybody looks at reviews, and they can truly make or break a business. So that's why I want to tell you about Sears Garage Door Solutions in Glenview, Illinois. Okay, they had tons of Google reviews from big names like Iron Man and Hillary Clinton. They were all negative and they were all fake. Over 100 bogus reviews mentioned products I didn't even sell, like hurricane doors. So Michael Brownstone, he tried to get all these fake reviews taken down from Google. He sent over 60 emails to Google, even a certified letter. Did Google respond? Nope. So Brownstone said, screw this, and he went to NBC5 in Chicago, a local news station. Only then did he manage to get the reviews removed with their help. So you might be wondering, how does Google actually remove reviews? They use AI, they say human reviewers, They look for sudden rating spikes and maybe some patterns of identical reviews, suspicious account activity. But the bottom line here is that if you have a business and you're having trouble getting any type of feedback from Google about negative reviews, do what Mike did, okay? Just get some negative PR for the company from your local television news station or radio station. All right, finally this, coming in at number 5, we've all heard predictions that the robots are coming to take away human jobs. But for fast food workers, that threat is now reality. You see, it was about 15 years ago that fast food workers everywhere were threatening to strike for higher wages. They marched, they chanted, they demanded. But no one took them seriously because unskilled workers are just easily replaced. So over time, wages did go up, and fast food prices are now up 100 to 200% in those 10 years. So to hold prices down, fast food is turning to machine helpers with names like Flippy and Chippy, and you're like this one, Autocado. Yes, like avocado. Autocado actually peels, chops, and mixes avocados. The initial investment is high because these machines cost $50,000, $100,000. Oh, Flippy, by the way, makes hamburgers. Chippy, you ready for this? Fresh tortilla chips. And they say that customers just love watching the machines work. And the bottom line here, you're never going to see Flippy and his buddies just walking a picket line. All right, coming up, of course, we have all of your great phone calls. But, this is something that pops up on the show time and time again. And I got to talk about it one more time because I just keep getting a slew of email about, hey, Kim, you talked about how we could make money online, about being an online jury member. How does that work? I'm going to give you the scoop on that. Also, the secret phone ID that's giving away your personal details. And, of course, you have me. You don't want to miss that ever, Kim Komando. If you have not already entered to win, let me tell you, it's almost over. I'm talking about the contest for the $1,000 vacation gift card to your favorite airline. I mean, I'm looking at you right now. You need a vacay. So what you need to do is go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com to enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card just to your favorite airline. Just tell me what your airline is, and then I'm going to send you a $1,000 gift card for that airline. Once again, the address is winfromkim.com. Wouldn't it be great to get the inside scoop on how you can be burglarized? I mean, what are the red tail signs? I mean, what are you doing that's completely wrong? Well, Jen Gomez knows all this. She was in prison for burglary for 10 years. Yeah. She got out 3 years ago, and that's when she totally turned her life around. She's now making it her mission. That's right. She has over 100,000 followers on TikTok, helping people think like a burglar to protect themselves. I mean, for example, what does that Ring video doorbell really do for you? What about key fobs? And how about like somebody stealing your wallet or even the RFIDs? I mean, she kind of covers it all. So, Jen, thank you so much for being here. Let's talk right here at the start. What are some misconceptions that people have when it comes to protecting themselves?
Kim, when I was burglarizing homes, of course, this was some years back, but there was a big false sense of security when people would post signs outside of their home, just notifying anybody that they had a security system. Because for me personally, that was one thing that I would look for in a home. I felt that if you had a security system, it was likely you had something you wanted to protect inside your home.
Yeah, right.
And it was probably valuable.
So I heard that one of the things that you look for is for a dog. Tell us about that.
A lot of people, they love their animals and they will have something outside that will signify that there's an animal. There's some kind of pet. They'll have a lot of security systems have stickers that say, in case of emergency, in case of fire, rescue my dog or cat. And they'll have that right on their front door. And so if I see that, or really any sign, beware of dog, something that signifies there's an animal, for the most part, I know that the animal is likely walking around freely, which to me indicates that the motion sensors are not on inside the home. And I would look for that so I could target that home so I could walk around freely inside as well. And what would happen is I would think to myself, why don't people at the very least shut their bedroom door, set that sensor in their master bedroom, because that's where all thieves are going to go, and then just let their animals walk around the rest of the house freely. Most of the time, they just turn all the motion sensors off. And if that's because their animals walking around, that's a plus for me. That's a win. So wow. I would look for an animal most of the time.
So now you mentioned the master bedroom. Is that always like the hot spot to go to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, outside of maybe an office, the master bedroom is 9 times out of 10 where everything's at. It's where there is a safe. It's where there's jewelry. If there's any emergency funds, any, cash stashed in a drawer in a closet, it's always in the master bedroom. So that's pretty much the only spot.
So how long would it take you to go through a master bedroom? It must be, I mean, you were probably pretty quick at this, right?
Yeah, it was quick. It was quick, Kim. It was probably maybe 8 minutes tops, no more than that.
And so what was the biggest loot that you got?
Jewelry was kind of it was a hit or miss because I could see something that is worth a lot as a woman. I would think it's worth a lot of diamonds, a lot of stones, but I did not deal in stones. So I needed weight in gold. And so I would look for things that were very heavy. I found a couple times, I found a lot of 24 karat gold, but there was one particular time I found a very large Cuban link, 24 karat. It was so yellow. I actually thought it was fake. I had to take it and test it. And it turned out to be real. And that was almost $40,000 just for that one little Cuban link. And besides that, I had noticed throughout the years that most wealthy people have some sort of emergency fund. Like we're in Florida, if there's a hurricane, what if, the banks are closed? And they usually keep that right in a bank envelope, right in their room. So a lot of times they have it in a Bible or in a purse in the closet. So I would find that. And the most cash I ever found was $50,000 in cash, all in 100s, in a bank envelope, right there in the person's closet. And I was like, my goodness, this is a lot. I mean,
it's a lot of money just sitting right there.
This is like a whole year's salary for some people.
So what advice would you have for somebody who wants to hide their jewelry, wants to hide their money from somebody like you?
I would say definitely you really don't. I mean, we are in an age where you don't need to keep that much cash in your home. But if you are going to keep some in your home, maybe put it in, I know this might sound bad, but in a child's room. Most burglars, myself included, and people that I've talked to, they don't really go into kids' rooms. There's nothing in there that looks like it could be lucrative. There's no reason to waste time in there. Most burglars want to get in and out. So in a child's room is a pretty safe bet. And definitely do not think that a safe in your room is going to deter anybody, because I would pick those things up and walk right out with them.
Okay, so much for the safe.
Yeah.
So, Jen, how did you get caught?
I actually didn't get caught by my own doings. I got caught because somebody that I was using this man's facility. He had a machine that would melt down the gold. And because I needed to use his machine, he didn't know what I was doing, but I was visiting him regularly. I mean, a few times a week. And what ended up happening was the police were surveilling him. They were watching him, and he ended up getting caught for whatever he was doing. It was independent of what I was doing. And they asked him, who is this woman that keeps coming to your store? His store was like a surplus store. It sold screen doors and bathroom sink knobs and things like that. And they're saying, why is this woman coming? She never leaves with anything. She's clearly not purchasing anything, and she comes regularly. So he told them, this is what she's doing. She's melting gold. That's what she does. She pays me a cut, and then she goes about her way. And, from there, they looked up my license plate, followed me around. They didn't find me or catch me actually doing anything. But when they they didn't break into my home. They raided my home. And when they did that, they found one necklace, one piece of jewelry that was connected to a burglary. And from there, they were pretty much, scaring me, saying, hey, we're going to charge you with all these other burglaries, even if we don't have evidence, but we're still going to charge you based on this one. So I had to admit to it and just start all over.
Well, sounds like you're doing a good job. I mean, you're on TikTok, you're getting a strong following and turning your life around, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that was a wake-up call, a big one. So
10 years is a long time.
The whole life.
10 years is a long time, right? That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well,
very long.
Well, I'm glad that you are on the straight and narrow, and best of luck to you on TikTok. And I hope that you grow to 1 million and 2 million and 3 million. And then, who knows what you're going to do then, Jen. Thanks for being here. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And as I mentioned already, whenever I talk about this on the air, oh my gosh, I mean, you guys and gals are always like, what was the name of that website and how can I get involved and how can I try this out? It's a novel way to make money online. And if you like real crime stories, instead of just listening to a podcast or watching one that's streaming, you can actually be part of an online jury. You see, these mock trial websites, they need people like you to pretend to be jury members, okay? Because this way, attorneys can practice and maybe kind of predict how real juries might vote based on different demographics and some other factors. Now, the requirements for this online job, pretty basic. You have to be at least 18 years old, live in the United States, and you cannot be an attorney and you cannot be a paralegal. So how much can you make? Cases pay on average of $1 per minute for your time. So you can expect to make anywhere between $20 and $60 per case. So the sites to check out are like eJury, Jury Test, and Online Verdict. Once again, that's eJury, the letter eJury, Jury Test, and Online Verdict. Now, they may or may not have a ton of cases available, so that's why you need to check from time to time and just go ahead and fill out the application. And if you need those web addresses again, just hit komando.com. And in that search box, that actually works now because we fixed it, just type in online jury member. All right, still to come, we have more of your great phone calls and some tips you don't want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, in just a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the secret phone ID that could be giving away your personal details. And before we get to that and all of your great phone calls, let's talk about some ways to get unbiased, independent news. Because as the elections are drawing near, it's important that you don't let big tech sway your vote with their biased trending news and spam filters. Okay, here's a little history lesson. In the early 1980s, 90% of the news media was controlled by 50 companies. Okay, what do you think that is today? Okay. Less than 10 companies. Yeah, less than 10 companies control 90% of the news media. So when you're looking for news without a spin, you really have to go to some certain websites, starting with, say, the Associated Press and Reuters. Then definitely check out the Wall Street Journal. I always like the way that their writers tell both sides of the story and truly let you formulate your own opinion. Now, for a global perspective on news happening here in the United States, drop by the BBC website. Now, aside from posts, you can also watch news videos on all these sites. And of course, you can cast them to your TV too. All right, let's see. Adam in Aiken, South Carolina. Hi there, Adam.
Hey, Kim. How are you?
I'm good. I love your accent. Are you from New York? No, kidding.
I'm not. I'm Southern born and raised.
I knew that. I'm just giving you a hard time. So what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you I love your show. Love listening to you.
Well, thank you.
Second, we have 3 kids. One's 17, the other 2 are 5. And just working and all is on mayhem. My wife is looking to work at home or trying to find a job to work at home.
Mm-hmm.
But everything we seem to come across on the internet is either not true or scams or just not legit. We need a legit job.
Well, what is she qualified to do?
The last 20 years, she's worked in customer service. She's been a manager of a finance company in the finance business the last probably 10 years of that. So she has the customer service background, the collecting, finance, and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, of course, the worst thing you can do is just Google search "make money at home," right? So
right, yes.
Because then it's like, all right, I'm going to get every scammer under the sun just right on me.
Yes.
But she has skills that are definitely available for remote jobs. And you want to use like maybe the job boards like FlexJobs, remote.co. There's also remote.io. But here's the deal is that even then you're going to run into scammers. And so what I would suggest is that if there are companies that she would like to work for, big companies, and then I would look on their website under their career section for any type of remote opportunities. So like, for example, you said customer service. I can tell you right now that Amazon seems to be always hiring remote customer service folks. And for budgeting and accountants and finance managers, there's always positions for that as well as accounts payable and receivables. And even just, maybe some strategic specialist or analyst in accounting. And, but if there are companies that she is familiar with or that she knows that she'd like to work for, that's where I like to direct people to those positions, right? And there is a website that I would also recommend, aside from Flex Jobs and this remote.co, it's called The Work at Home Woman. And that's the website, The Work at Home Woman. And this is a job board. And it looks like they vet some of the opportunities in there. But of course, we always have to be super smart when we're looking at any type of work at home opportunity, meaning like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? If they're asking you they're going to send you some money to buy a laptop. And so that this way you can use that laptop in the job, but they send you $4,000 and the laptop's only $799. And then they say, oops, we made a mistake. Can you send us the difference? Okay. Well, you're going to send that at your account. Then you're going to be out, the $3,300 or whatever it is. Right.
Correct.
And if they ask you to pay for an opportunity, then that's not, the main HR rules still apply. Meaning that you're going to have to fill out an application. You're going to have to go through some type of interview process. It may be that the company hires you or your wife or whoever's looking for the job. You said your wife, but whoever's listening, that they want to put you on a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day probationary period as a contract only in person under 1099. That's sometimes that happens. But again, you want to look at the positions that are legit on the websites. And that's why, because the scams are so rampant now, I just want to make sure that you are making sure that you are pursuing the best opportunities. And we do have lists of these work at home jobs that are legit over at Komando.com. And so just use the search box, say work at home, and I'm sure a couple of these are going to pop up for you. If you need any help afterwards, Adam, just give me a call. I'm always here for you. And thanks for being such a loyal listener to the show. Really, really appreciate your support over the years. It's good folks like you that have made my career very, very accessible and profitable, and one that I just really, really dig doing day after day. Oh, and speaking of identity theft, okay, who do you picture to be the most likely person to have their identity stolen? Okay, is it somebody who's older? Think younger. Think much younger. A new report from Experian says that 25% of kids will have their identity stolen before the age of 18. Wow. And the bad part is you probably won't even notice it for many years. Probably when the kid goes to rent their first apartment or maybe get a student loan, they may already have thousands of dollars of debt. So here's what I want you to do for the kids in your family right now. Number one, freeze their credit until they need it. Super easy to do. Contact Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and just request a credit freeze on their name and social security number. Also, while you're there, see if there's a credit report already opened up in their name. And get the habit of checking the kid's credit report annually, especially before milestones like getting a driver's license or maybe they're starting college. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as, it's kind of a weird tip, but I think you might like it, how to report a UFO online, here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, let's see. Robin in Richmond, Virginia. Glad to have you with us.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. What's going on?
Okay, you're probably going to laugh at me, but I have been listening to motivational and meditation videos at night.
Mm-hmm. To help you sleep?
Yes.
Okay.
And I use one called Abide. And it's biblical. It goes over Bible verses. And I thought, this is good. I can get my Bible study in for the day. Fall asleep.
This is great. This is fabulous.
This is great.
I mean, you're so funny. That's see, and then, okay, maybe I've been doing this all wrong, Robin. Is that, I've been trying to listen to Bible in a year when I'm putting on my makeup and getting ready in the morning. Okay. I didn't think of listening to it while I was going to sleep. Then I could get the Bible verse in and sleep at the same time. That's awesome.
Yeah. But let me tell you what has happened. Every time I listen to them, I have horrible nightmares.
God is talking to you. God is talking to you. God is saying, Robin, do your Bible verses in the morning.
Can there be subliminal messages in these meditation things we've listened to?
Oh, subliminal messages, they are meant to be perceived subconsciously. Okay.
Right.
I I think I looked at the video. You did, because you sent me an email and I looked at the video. It's a really big channel. I didn't realize I think they have over 1 million subscribers on that.
Yeah.
I would find it hard to believe that there's something in that particular meditational Bible verse that is saying, Robin, you're going to go to the deep darkness and, you're going to fall off the Titanic and Leonardo DiCaprio is not going to be there to save you.
Oh, well, dang.
Sorry. But I mean, what you could do is you could look at a transcript, right?
Okay.
Of the video, and basically you go to YouTube. There's that 3-dot menu, the more menu.
Correct.
And then there's an option that says open the transcript. Just about every YouTube video has that, but the person who uploads the video has to enable the transcript to happen. Okay.
Okay.
You could always just feed that audio into another AI tool, like Otter.ai. You'd have to download the audio and then do that. There are audio analysis tools that may be able to help, but if I were you, I would just find a new channel, find something new. Maybe there's something in the story. Maybe there's something in the person's tone, the inflection, the music that just doesn't operate for you on that right frequency. I didn't really see anything that stood out that this was kind of like, this is kind of like a weirdo type thing that, maybe there could be. I didn't see that in the video that you sent me or that you mentioned in your email to me. So I would probably just find something else. Try Calm. I don't know if you tried that. That's a Calm app. That's pretty good too. There's several of them out there. Who's the one that I use? Oh, Insight Timer. That's another one. And how about Michael? Michael in Birmingham, Alabama. Hi there, Mike.
Hey, Kim. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
I'm a first-time caller and enjoy your daily newsletter and podcast. So pretty excited when you picked up the phone and let me talk to you today.
Yay. So what's on your mind?
Well, I'm not getting any younger these days and interested in doing some traveling overseas. So I see a lot of these different websites, and they talk about business class seats at discount rates, and then the more you look, what's really real, what's fake, and which ones are safe to even go to.
Yeah, that's, there are so many travel scams. I'm so glad that you called me, because these sites can pop up and they look legit, and they even send you a confirmation to your email. But then when you go to check in the flight, the airline says to you, you didn't buy a ticket. We don't have any knowledge of you. You're not even in our system. So
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. So what you want to do, you want to go to a couple of things. Number one, where I start, is Google Flights. And what I like to do with Google Flights is you can sort by duration. That's always me. And also the least number of stops. Okay. Because I don't want to go from Phoenix to Chicago to New York to London to Paris to Madrid.
Yeah, I kind of want to get there quicker.
Exactly. Okay. Just tell me the shortest distance that I can do. And then I will also check the websites for the various airlines. The best day for you to book your travel is on Sundays. The cheapest day of the week to travel is on a Wednesday. And you always want to take the earliest flight of the day that you can, so that in case that gets canceled, you got more likely to get on another flight, right? Okay.
Right.
And so I wouldn't go to any quote unquote discount travel site for my tickets. I think there are just too many scams that are out there. And if you really don't know what you're doing, it looks legit. It might be legit. I mean, you could check out the Better Business Bureau. You can make sure that you're not going to pay for your tickets in cryptocurrency or in gift cards, because believe it or not, people fall for that. Like, I'm going to Athens, and here are $1,000 Apple gift cards. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
No. Okay. You're smarter than that. Thank you for that. You wouldn't know the phone calls that I've taken. Okay.
Well, I flew to Barcelona earlier this year and had a flight get canceled, and managed to get there. But yeah, it was an ordeal, and wish it would have been a little bit earlier in the day, which might have helped that. But
Yeah, that's always the key, is that, the earliest flight that you can get your butt out of bed and get to the airport, that's the one that you want to do. So, start at Google Flights. That's what I do, again, just to kind of figure out my schedule and to see what the day looks like. Now, keep in mind that Google Flights also has the ability where they will guarantee that you just got the lowest price on a fare. We have the exact steps how to do that over on Komando.com. Just search for Google lowest flight guarantee or something like that. And I'm sure that tip will pop up for you. You got to go through a couple extra steps. But what Google's saying is like, you know what, we will make sure that you have the lowest fare possible. And then I just buy directly through the airline's websites. If I have some credit card points, I'll go ahead and do that. I did that last weekend for a couple of family members to get them over to Santa Barbara. Using some American Airlines flights. And I'll tell you, using points now is so much easier than it has been in the past. It used to be you have to call and you have to go through all these gyrations. Now it's like, do you want to pay for the flight by points or by cash? I'm like, oh, sweet. So nice. If you do come across a really great fare, Michael, and you're wondering if it is legit, just go ahead and send it to me, and I'm more than happy to take a look at it for you. Hey, by the way, if you're too shy to come on a big time talk radio show and podcast and you're like, hey, Kim, I'd really like to talk to you. I have a question for you, whatever it may be, is head over to the website, the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show, which is what? Yes, Komando.com with a K, of course. And then there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. Just fill out that form. And by the way, I read every single note that you send me. Once again, that's Komando.com, and then hit the link that says Ask Kim. And I know you want to drop me all your questions all over social media and you want to DM me, but I'm telling you, this is the best way for you to make sure that I always see your questions. Again, that's Komando.com with a K, and hit that link that says Ask Kim. I wish I had that scary music, but are we alone? Are we? I'm still skeptical, but if you believe that you've seen a UFO, there are just a slew of online platforms where you can report what you saw. But the standout is the National UFO Reporting Center. That's where you want to go. Now, this organization has been operating since 1974, logging just tens of thousands of sightings of people all over the world. So they've got an online form right on their website where you can submit all the details. And it's super important to provide as much as possible. Like, what time did it happen? What did it look like? How did it move? Now, I'm not saying that all UFOs are alien spacecrafts, but if you're ever gazing at the stars and you see something that you just can't explain, remember that you can always report it. Again, where you want to go? The National UFO Reporting Center. National UFO Reporting Center. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you have not already entered to win that $1,000 vacation gift card, do it now. I'm going to be giving it away soon, and I'd like to be able to call you and say, hey, you won $1,000. So here's where you need to go. winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com.